Hey guys, welcome back to Figure It Out. Today we have got an unboxing that I am so excited about. We're going to be taking a look at NECA's new 2022 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figure. It is the poster figure from John Carpenter's 1982 movie, The Thing. Well, I have been a fan of sci-fi and horror for a long time. And as you know, if you've been watching this channel, I collect movies, I collect comics. I love putting these action figures that I collect into dioramas. And when I heard that there was going to be this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figure from the movie The Thing, well, it was like a juxtaposition of so many of my favorite things. The movie The Thing is in my top 5 all-time movies, no matter what the genre is. I love that movie, and I don't know how many times I've seen it, but I've seen it a bunch. Interesting about this figure though, it's not a character in the movie per se. It really is supposed to be representative of the Thing, the alien creature that begins to take over the residents of the Antarctica outpost in the movie. And so if you haven't seen it, oh my stars, please go see this movie. Rent it, find it somewhere online. It is so good. It still holds up. Anyway, in fact, I watched it not too long ago, just a few weeks ago. But I know that NECA has gotten hold of the copyrights to print or to manufacture these figures, and so they've recently come out with the McCready figures. They've had 2 different ones. I have them. They are going to be coming out, so news has kind of been leaked that they're going to be doing one of the monster sculpts this fall. So jazzed about that. Can't wait to grab hold of it, put that monster and McCready into a diorama. I think it'll be absolutely fantastic. But to kind of hold us off, they've given us this figure here, and it's the movie poster, which actually adorns one of the walls in my little collection room, my man cave. And so I love this, and so I love this figure. And so let's take a look at the box. Let's pull the figure out and see what we want to do with it. Let's start by looking at this box. It has a very unique design in the sense that this front cover is a lenticular cover, which means it's got those lines in it, and you know, the printing to where this looks very 3D when you're up close to it because of the lenticular nature of the printing. I don't know, it's hard to say if this is showing up on camera or not, just the way I'm angling it, but I'm trying to keep the studio lights out, but I don't know if you can see that lenticular cover there, but it gives it a really cool effect. It gives it a lot of depth in this cover. The back of the box, it also demonstrates that this figure is lightable. It does have a light, and so you can see different poses: pose in the snow, pose with the starburst face, pose with just a regular face, and then nothing. And so it kind of gives you some ideas on how you might want to choose to pose. As we open up the box, again, it has pose art in here. This is the actual figure, not the poster itself, but it's the actual figure. I think they have done some editing on it to brighten the lights and kind of give it some snow feature on there, as far as, you know, maybe doing a little bit of Photoshop to enhance this look. But then you can see the figure itself in the window, and then you see it comes with this starburst face, and it also comes with just the regular face. Let's pull this guy out of the box and see what it looks like. Well, I gotta be honest, that took a hot minute to try to figure out how this thing lights up. And I mean, it's not overly complicated from the sense of where you can find the switch. Just to let you know, when you get this figure, the hood comes off. So on the back of the head there's a switch, and you can turn this switch to turn the light off and on. Alright, and it does a decent job, and you can put the hood back on the figure, and that's super easy. However, when you get this figure out of the package, there is a little screw here, and you have to take this little panel off and pull the plastic that is separating the batteries so that they'll make contact, and I'm assuming they do that so that it won't actually turn on during shipping or corrode or whatever the case. And so but the batteries are like little tiny baby watch batteries, and you pull that plastic out and pow, they all go everywhere. And then you got to try to figure out how to line them up, which there is a tiny little thing in there that tells you what it is, but my eyeballs took a little bit to get it figured out. And anyway, so we've got this figure now lit up. So let's take a step back and see what it looks like. I gotta tell you, I mean, it looks exactly like what the poster looks like. It looks really, really cool. But let's just go over some of the details of this figure. First, this is the Starburst lighted face. It's actually really easy to remove. You know, no fear of hurting anything. Which, you know, when you have this, it looks kind of like a little delicate piece, but it's really not. It's not that bad. Well, I say that. It just has these two pins that kind of hold it in place, but this seems pretty sturdy. Obviously you can't jump up and down on it, but just by moving the figure around, or if it accidentally fell over, I do not believe, like, there's a lot of give to these, I do not believe that it will mess up at all. You can see once you pull that off, that front plate, that there's just an LED, a couple of LED lights that are right there. And so if we wanted to go ahead and let's take the other face that this comes with, and we can put that on. And the hood back on. And then we have that as a look. And then if you're wanting just the dark face, which is shown on the back, I'm assuming you just turn this off. You might even pop this off because that'll show white. And then once his little, if the lighting is correct, once you do this, you won't be able to see anything. Although from the picture on the box, it looks like you should be able to, it would just be a black face, but here, or a face that's indistinguished, but obviously you can see that LED, so that's not going to work. Anyway, the details on this, I mean, the paint job and the details are really fantastic. NECA does a really good job of sculpting these and painting these. All right, so just taking a look at the coat, you can see there's a dark undercoat of paint, and then they've got this blue brushed over it, this lighter blue. It looks really good. And then they add some additional details down in the boots with some splatter that look like snow slush. They took the blue off the front because for the figure itself it's supposed to be really silhouetted, and so I think they didn't want to highlight that. But you can see how that blue is as you scroll through. Just the textures on this are just perfect for like a winter parka kind of a thing. I mean, it just looks exactly like what you would think it would. They just do a great job with, you know, all the details in this. You know, a lot of times when we pull these figures out of the box, we talk about how their articulation is and what we might be able to do with them. But to be quite honest, I don't really believe that this figure was intended to be posed in a scene, so to speak, like an action scene like we might do with any of the other comic book or superhero figures. But instead, this one's probably intended to be a little bit more statuesque, to put it in a pose and kind of leave it there, and it doesn't need a lot of movement because there's just not a whole lot we're going to do with it. It does have some movement though. I mean, they certainly have the joints to where they're not the double joints but the single joints, and so it does have some articulation, but that's really not the draw of this figure. It's not how far it can, you know, do kicks or flying leaps or things like that. It's really just intended to emulate what the poster looks like and just be super cool there on, you know, your display. So no doubt this is how I'm going to do it, because this is what the poster looks like. I mean, no matter what, if you're a fan of the movie, this is a really cool figure to have. NECA, great job. You did a super job with this figure. It is very exciting to have yet another piece of, you know, the Thing and what that looks like, and as far as having a Comic-Con exclusive. Got one of them that I'm going to put out and pose, and should be fantastic. Really excited to have the Thing movie poster figure, and we'll find a diorama for it, stick it in there, make it look cool in our display. All right, well, thanks for watching.